It was late in December 2024 when we embarked on this journey. An Indian Railways caravan took us right across the heart of the country. Yes, we are going to visit Gujarat, the Indian state with a rich history, a vibrant culture, and unique in many ways. The journey, however, started with some major hiccups delivered courtesy Indian Railways. We were kept waiting for almost 5 hours at the departure station, and finally, around 1 am in the night, the train trudged into Santragachi. The morning cup of tea and whatever food that followed in due course was fine, and even more than helpful, as the train journey turned out to be anything but pleasant. A scheduled trip of 37 hours, mind you, Ahmedabad is not very near to our Bengal, actually turned out to be a rather painful 48 hours. The terrain changed over time. The evergreen landscape gradually gave way to more arid tones. As the train trundled across rivers and valleys, farmlands and industrial belts, through days and nights, the journey felt almost like a never-ending one. Finally, we have arrived. It's 1 am in Ahmedabad. There are bright lights all around as we cross the Sabarmati, but obviously very few are awake. Even the hotel guys have to be drawn out of their slumber so that we could have a few hours of sleep ourselves. It is only 9 in the morning the next day and we are on the road. I said only 9 because in this part of the country, sunrise occurs as late as 7 am, and at 9 it seems like half the city is not yet fully awake. Anyways, our driver Raj is fully awake as he maneuvers the Ahmedabad morning traffic. We first visit this remarkably elegant Jain temple created out of white marble. Built in 1848 at an estimated cost of 10 lakh rupees by the renowned Kutch family of Gujarat, this temple is dedicated to the 15th Jain Tirthankar, Sri Dharmanath. The temple was built during a severe famine in Gujarat. Building the temple employed hundreds of skilled artisans and several other unskilled workers, which in turn supported them and their families for 2 long years. Traditional artisans working in the construction work belonged mainly to the 2 communities of Gujarat, the Sompura and the Salat. The Salat community are especially skilled in masterpieces of stonework. The work of Hoti Singh Jain temple is attributed to Prem Chand Salat. The temple even today is managed by the Hoti Singh Family Trust. In the courtyards, we see the 78 feet tall Mahavir Stambh fashioned after the famous Kirti Stambh of Chittor. This is a recent addition to the temple on the occasion of the 2500th birth anniversary of Mahavir. We take our next stop at a place which is not only a place of worship for most Indians but is also revered by people from all over the world. Sabarmati Ashram, located north of Ahmedabad, was originally the residence of Mahatma Gandhi and his spouse Kasturba. The ashram is flanked by a calm and quiet stretch of the Sabarmati river. Because it was located in between a prison and a cemetery, Gandhi believed that a Satyagrahi would certainly end his life in either a prison or a graveyard. The original ashram was founded in May 1915, approximately 10 kilometers from here, at Jivanlal Desai's bungalow, who was a barrister associate of Gandhi. It was called Satyagraha Ashram. Mahatma Gandhi required additional space to carry out tasks such as farming and animal husbandry, so it was transferred to a 36-acre site on the banks of the river Sabarmati on June 17, 1917. Bidding adieu to the Mahatma around 10:30 in the morning, we suddenly realized that we are yet to have our breakfast. The first ever tickling of our taste buds on Gujarati soil with this roadside puri shaak was quite remarkable. Satiated with our first experience of Gujarati cuisine, we move on towards our next destination, which is 16 odd kilometers away from Ahmedabad. This flamboyant 15th century stepwell in Adalaj has lost only little of its grandeur over the last few centuries. The intricate carvings on the pillars that support the 5 stories even to this day are mostly intact. There are some fascinating features of this stepwell that make it an important emblem of superior architecture. The opening in the ceilings above the landings allow light and air to enter the octagonal well, but direct sunlight never touches the steps except at noon. The temperature inside the well is 6 degrees cooler than outside. It is about 12 noon on the clock, and we are now moving towards another part of this fascinating state. We had checked out of the Ahmedabad hotel with our luggage in the morning, so we will not be returning back there. Now we proceed further west to the salt marshes and the wetlands of the Rann of Kutch, the greatest salt desert of the world. At 2:30 in the afternoon, we check into the Royal Safari Camp in Bajana, A quick look at our room and we settle into the buffet lunch offered by our host. Occupying more than 5,000 square kilometers of area, the little Rann of Kutch is spread over 5 major districts of Gujarat: Morbi, Surendranagar, Patan, Banaskantha and Kutch. And Bajana is a gateway to the Wildlife Sanctuary, only one of its kind in the country. Spread over the entire little Rann of Kutch, this sanctuary is home to the last remaining population of Indian wild ass, a critically endangered species. Apart from those, the sanctuary is also home to various species of birds, making it a prime bird watching site. Our driver cum guide seems to have sniffed the air correctly. Soon we are rewarded with our first sighting of a small group of wild ass. This species appears to be a very shy animal. Reluctant to allow us anywhere nearby, they soon set off into the wilderness. In the little Rann of Kutch, there are about 74 small islands or plateaus called beds, and the remaining is mostly Bunny grassland. During monsoons, most of this area gets submerged in water, and the beds, which are essentially highlands, become an abode for the diverse wildlife. Post monsoons, the water evaporates, and the rest of the soil cracks to form the dry, barren landscape that can be seen now. We have come to a place where we can visualize how salt farming is done. This is done by a small family living in a rustic thatched hut amidst this vast expanse of a salt desert, braving extreme temperatures of day and night. Using solar power, they draw groundwater out of this boring and spread it into the salt pits they have prepared. Once the water evaporates, This crystal is what they get, and from this we finally get our daily dose of salt. Miles and miles of arid land with no living soul or nothing in sight from horizon to horizon. It seems so easy to get lost forever in this endless desert, albeit for our bearded friend at the wheel and his gypsy. After which seems like an eternity, we finally see another car coming, accompanied by a cloud of salty dust. And then we suddenly spot the treat of the day, a long line of wild ass lazily trundling along the grasslands, driving home into the setting sun. Feeling somewhat relieved after reaching the entrance gate from where we had started, we did not get lost after all. Soon we are glad to be back in our cozy camp rooms as the freezing cold gradually grips the desolate outside. With a sumptuous dinner, we call curtains to the first day of our tour. Second day of the tour, we have a delectable breakfast from the buffet tables, and in a moment we are ready for the road again. We have a long day ahead of us, all of 305 kilometers if not more, from the little Rann to the greater Rann. The roads in Gujarat are mostly excellent, which allows us to reach quicker than expected. So, skipping the check-in for the time being, we head directly towards Kalo Dungar. Another 50 kilometers upwards, and by 5 in the afternoon, we are at the highest point of the Great Rann. Please remember that there is no public transport to this place. You need to make your own arrangement of vehicles. From a height of 462 meters, it is a formidable view of the Great Rann salt flats. There is also a 400 years old temple atop the hill dedicated to Lord Dattatreya. And we also have some fun en route in the magnetic zone. The car is in neutral gear and moving uphill. Whether it is for real or just an illusion, we cannot be sure. It is quite dark by the time we reach our resort in Hodka. As the sun disappears behind the horizon, the temperature starts falling drastically in the desert. Soon we find ourselves shivering and are greatly comforted by the warm pot of coffee our host delivers just in time.
गंगा सथरना रेती पर कच्छ न मरण ने घाकी रंग भरेलू सूरज उतरी गुजरात निवादी कलरवंती चमकती बुनैयात्मा.
Later, we gather around a cozy bonfire for some cultural fiesta, which is followed by a succulent feast of local cookery. It is a good night for now. Please wait for the rest of the run and more in our next episode.